There we go. I got there eventually. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to True Gunners TV. Hope you're all doing well on this wonderful Saturday evening. Of course, we're here today to discuss, of course, transfers. We're also going to be talking about the overarching question, which is, can anyone stop Manchester City from winning everything again next season? And I've got an exciting one for you guys because I have got a very large panel coming on to discuss this. Of course, you couldn't be talking about this topic without getting a fan from each individual top six club. So it's going to be a real treat for you guys. And look, you know how treats work. I tell my kids this all the time. If you want a treat, you have to be good little boys and girls. And to be good little boys and girls, the first thing you need to do is be slapping that like button, hitting that subscribe button if you are new, and of course, making sure you hit that notification bell as well so you never, ever miss a stream. And look, guys, I ain't going to hang about. We're going to get straight into it. I'm going to introduce my panel right about now. Make sure you're slapping them likes. And the first person on my panel tonight is Manchester United fan, Staffy. You may have seen this guy on the Football Terrace. Talks a lot of sense, talks a lot of facts. I like that. I like a guy that talks facts. Doesn't beat around the bush, just says it how it is. So, of course, we had to get him on tonight to represent Manchester United. Staffy, how we doing, bro?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me. This is one of the best intros I've had for a while. You know, Hussam is about to be on. Hussam, you should learn a thing or two from this guy because he just bigged me up. None of that drama queen stuff that you always say on your channel. So thank you for having me, bro. If you guys haven't watched me before, where have you been? But you're about to watch me today. But thanks for having me, bro.
There we go. There we go. My next panelist is Chelsea fan. I know. We're actually going to include Chelsea in this. They finished 12th last season, but we're going to include Chelsea in this as a traditional top six club. Winter Surfer, again, you may have seen this guy on the Football Terrace and various other channels. I like what this guy has to say around Chelsea. So, of course, I had to give him an invite as well. Winter Surfer, bro, how we doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the invite on the channel. We're just here because of history, aren't we? Really, Chelsea. So not really.
Definitely not based on last season.
The irony. So, but yeah, big up. Subscribe to this channel, please, guys. Like the video. But yeah, thanks for the invite.
100%. Make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're doing that. My next panelist representing Arsenal, because believe it or not, I would have represented Arsenal, but I'm currently wearing the sky blue shirt. So maybe you might like to link me to Manchester City a little bit. Maybe I'm going on loan. Who knows? So I thought I'd have to get an Arsenal fan on to represent. Now, this guy, I've been on his channel on numerous occasions, talks facts about Arsenal. None of this, everything's great and this, that, and the other. I like... again, what this guy has to say surrounding Arsenal. Speaks facts. He's like Marmite, though. You either love him or you hate him. And of course, that guy is Northside. How we doing, my bro?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
No worries, bro. I know you're a bit busy at the moment. So I appreciate you. Coming on, my bro. Yeah. Make sure you're speaking facts on the Arsenal tonight, otherwise I'll have to correct you. You already know.
Yeah.
Now, of course, traditional top six is obviously, what we're talking about tonight. But there is absolutely no way that we could be having this conversation. Like I say, the overarching question being who can catch Manchester City, who can stop Manchester City, without including a Newcastle United fan, because they have finished in the top four, of course, last season. They've got the big Saudi owners, the big money coming in, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with in a few years' time. So we had to get a Newcastle fan on, and that guy is Goldberg. How are we doing, Goldberg?
Good evening, everyone. It feels good to be here. It's a pleasure being invited to join the panel of big boys and to discuss about the top four. This one is especially made for top four guys, not the club that finish in 11th position.
Good man, good man. No doubt we'll get into Newcastle a little bit more in just a moment. But my final panelist, I had to beg this guy to come on. I had to send him little love letters over Twitter. He obviously likes me a lot more than what he makes out. There was no way in hell he was going to be doing a stream on the top six without getting Hussam representing Liverpool. Big up, Hussam. How are we doing, my bro?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Big up to the panelists, big up to the people watching. And yeah, we're out here, man. He didn't have to beg me or anything. I just had a show at the time he originally planned. There was no begging, guys. He's just overdoing it, being the typical drama queen that this Brandon guy is. So yeah, no one begged me to do anything.
There was a few love letters. There was a few love letters. You already know this. So listen, guys, obviously the overarching question is, can anybody stop Manchester City from winning everything again next season? And we're going to start, of course, with the transfers, because the transfer window is open. Football clubs are making signings. All of our football clubs have been making signings. So we're going to start by just having a little quick conversation over your transfer window so far. Are you happy with how it is going so far? And we're going to start with Arsenal, and we're going to start with you, Northside. Of course, Arsenal have signed Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Jurrien Timber. Are you happy with them signings?
I'm happy with Declan Rice. I'm happy that this club is moving away from getting the B Tech, C Tech, D Tech, all the other nonsense that we've been getting in 19 years. I'm happy that we got Declan Rice and we weren't penny pinching like we had in various times for Rafinha, for Modric. The list goes on. So I'm happy that we got that over the line, and I think big up Edu and Arteta for that signing. I'm very happy with Timber. I think it's definitely needed when you've only got the option of Kivior and Rob Holding, and Rob Holding that should have been, the guy's an absolute bum. That field I thought that ain't good for nothing. Just sack him, get rid of him. So I'm happy with Timber. I'm not happy with Havertz because once again it's another one for Project U, for Process or Phase 4 or Phase 3, because he's not the finished article. And I don't really think there's anything about his game that's sensational. And if Arteta is that great at getting the best out of players, why didn't he get the best out of Nakonga, Nuntavaj, Rob Holding? Why didn't he get the best out of Pepe? Because we actually smashed the transfer record to get Pepe. Why didn't you get the best out of him? Because we smashed the transfer record at that time, £72 million. Get the best out of him. You know, so at the end of the day, I'm not happy with Havertz. I don't think he progresses our club forward. I don't think he's good enough. And when you're going against the treble winners, you need players that are going to give you world-class performances like Declan Rice. And I don't think that Havertz is that guy. If Arsenal are really serious, these Philly stuff actually need to go out there and do what needs to be done, which is go out there and get me a striker that can score 20 or 30 goals a season. Go out there and get me another winger that brings competition to Saka, like we have on the left with Martinelli and Trossard. Get me another right back, because if Ben White's injured, we've got that filo da puta que somos foda cabeza in Cedric or Tomiyasu, not good enough. Go get me a Santi Cazorla to play the deep line playmaker role, especially when you're letting go of Xhaka. We need a replacement for him and more. And ultimately, everyone's saying that we bottled the league. Arsenal fans saying that we bottled the league because of a light bench. Yeah. Well, then go and address that. If that is the reason why we didn't win the league, go out there and get it done. Up until then, I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 window. There's a lot that needs to be done. And last January, we got rid of 6 players, promised a big summer. I'm still waiting for that, because this midfield should have been addressed last January, and we didn't. So ultimately, go get it done. I don't want to hear no excuses. This is the time to kick on. And until that's done, then I'm gonna wait till the transfer window is over to rate it. But so far, it's been decent. I don't think it's been great. We need a lot more. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you. Of course, nobody's going to sit here and say that their transfer window is perfect. We are only at the beginning of the transfer window, or in the middle of the transfer window at the moment. There's still more business to be done around each individual football club, no doubt. We're gonna next talk about Liverpool. So that's you, Hussam, and of course Dominic Szoboszlai coming in, big reputation. Top player, in my opinion, top player. And of course, Alexis McAllister on a release clause. You're addressing that area that I felt was your major downfall last season. Of course, everybody expected Liverpool to be competing for the league title last season, and that just didn't happen. Instead, it's dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And it Hussam, eh?
Brandon,
So what are you
I'm
saying
a
about your transfer
six-time
window so
Champions League
far, bro?
winner. I'm a 6-time Champions League winner. I've got more Champions League than this entire panel combined. So if I want to take a year off, I'm going to take a year off. Thank you very much. Let one of your bummy clubs win it. I'm sure Arsenal would love to see Bayern Munich again. Chelsea ain't in it anyway. At least Chelsea represent London properly in the Champions League. Anyway, we all know United ain't going to win it, or Newcastle. So it is what it is. We're going to have to rely on that
Don't worry
fake
about it.
club to do something again.
Don't worry about it.
So
Shots fired
Okay,
everywhere.
okay, Staffy, what bet you want to make right now that you aren't going to win the Champions League? Name your bet this very second.
I didn't say we're gonna win the Champions League. I'm just
Okay,
saying don't
thank
worry
you, bro.
about it. You like
Thank you very much.
You like
Thank
to
you
talk
very
about my
much.
team too much.
Thank you.
That's
You
your
aren't
issue.
going to win it. No one gives a fuck about quarterfinal. All that.
He's not putting his hair on the line again.
Exactly. You want to come shave your head on my channel if you didn't win it? I've got no problem with that.
Nah, you're the only
Anyway.
clown can do that.
Anyway. Oh, God. This guy.
So what we're saying then, Hussam,
He lost 7-0 to his biggest rival, talking about cloud. When it comes to Liverpool Football Club, signing McAllister, signing Szoboszlai is a great first step. I think when it comes to these two signings, they massively upgrade us. They massively improve us. The midfield was clearly our biggest weakness last year, and we've addressed that weakness so far with the 8th position. Obviously, we do need a 6 right now as things stand. I think we definitely need someone who can play the DM. But when it comes to the 8s, to the midfield as an entirety, we've addressed 2 positions that we really needed to. We've got Szoboszlai, we got McAllister, which is both are steps in the right direction, but we shouldn't be done with the transfer window yet. You never know with this football club, with FSG, with the way we move in the transfer windows. So you can never be too excited. You can never be too happy. So you've always got to be a little bit cautious. But I think Liverpool, even with just Szoboszlai and McAllister, will definitely challenge next season. But there's a difference between challenge and winning. I want to win. I don't want to just challenge. So that's why I want us to just kind of get everything that we need to get, which is a center back, a DM, and go all the way. So yeah. And by the way, speaking of stopping City, unlike other clubs who have competed with City, when we compete with City, we actually have gold medal. So yeah, big up.
I like that. He always. I like that.
That's a shot at you, man.
So you think then, if you get a centre back, you get a 6, that you could be the team to stop City? Then is that what you're saying, Hussam?
Of course. We're the only team alongside the City that has shown the ability to win 17, 18 games in a row. Liverpool are ruthless. There's no disrespect to Arsenal, but if we were in Arsenal's position last season, I think we'd be sat here league champions, and that's just based on experience. That's not an insult. Arsenal obviously have built up their experience with the challenge this season. Players like Saka, Martinelli, and others that they've gotten in the team have gotten more and more and more experience. So they're building themselves up to get to that level. But we're already at that level in terms of experience. So I think I'd say if we were in that position and we were in the Europa League, etc., we'd win it. We'd go on to win it. I don't think the Southampton, the West Ham other results happen if you're Liverpool Football Club, just based on the experience you have in these big moments. So I think we could definitely stop City, but it's about the transfers right now. If we don't get what we need to get, then we can only challenge. I don't think we can go all the way.
Okay. What about you, Staffy? Manchester United, of course, signed Mason Money Mount so far. Big links with Onana as your replacement goalkeeper. Of course, David De Gea has officially left Manchester United today, and big links with Rasmus Højlund as well. if you was to get them 2 signings over the line, Staffy, do you think you could be the team to stop Manchester City?
Are you taking a piss, or is this a real question?
Genuine question. Genuine question. Well, let's be honest. You had a decent first season under Eric Ten Hag, decent opening season, 3rd place finish in the League Cup, you won a trophy, and now, of course, Manchester United expectations has to be as one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest club in the world, to compete for league titles. And with Manchester City and Liverpool in recent years, your 2 biggest rivals winning Premier League titles, Champions Leagues, and all of that. Surely Manchester United have got to be a bit more serious now. Surely.
And their biggest rival giving them their biggest loss of all time. We must add that as well.
Oh yeah, in the 7. Yeah, the 7. Yeah.
I promise you, if Brandon or Northside lost 7-0 to Spurs, they would be off YouTube. I promise you. But Staffy has no shame, clearly, as we can see, because he's actually doing a show. He's doing a show with the guy that beat him 7-0.
Clearly, I'm more ballsy to still go on a show and not care. But listen, you celebrate that 7-Up trophy, 7-Up Cup trophy away from me. Okay, we're here to talk about next season. The parade for the 7-Up trophy has been over, so you could put yourself on mute, be quiet a little bit, and let me talk about my part so we can get it done with. Anyways, Brandon, back to your question before this guy rudely interrupted.
Don't take 7 minutes to answer, though. But here, I'm going to go on mute.
For this, listen, enjoy the Europa League, okay? I'm going to be too busy to even be on your shows anymore. I got Champions League, baby. So
I can't wait till you join me in it, my brother. I'm going to see you. In the Europa League.
Anyways, back to what Brandon asked. Listen, Brandon, I appreciate your question, but listen, I'm going to take you back to what you said when you introduced me. You said I try to keep it real as much as I can, and this is what I'm going to do right now. One of my issues with signing Mason Mount that a lot of people didn't like, and I was called very negative between my fan base, kind of like how you keep it real with your fan base and people call you negative. I said Mason Mount is, let's be honest, adding Mason Mount to any team, yes, you can say it's an improvement. When you just add a Mason Mount, yes, it is an improvement because it's an extra body in that team. And I think he's an average player, but you can argue that he's a little bit over average, depends on how you see football. However, this brings me back to my point. Bridging the gap with Manchester City is not signing a Mason Mount, which is what I said weeks ago, or maybe over a month ago when we were signing him. Yes, he's an improvement on what we have when you talk about Fred and McTominay. But when you're trying to bridge the gap with Man City, you don't sign a Mason Mount, because would Mason Mount be Gundogan's replacement? No, he wouldn't. Would he be Kevin De Bruyne's replacement? No, he wouldn't. Would he be an improvement on anyone that they have in that team? No, he wouldn't. So how am I meant to bridge the gap with Manchester City by signing Mason Mount? Doesn't make sense, which is why I refuse to put my team in any title hope conversations next season. First of all, due to the fact that I don't want to jinx it. Secondly, I don't see it. I don't believe it, So signing Mason Mount wasn't it for me. I hope it works out. I just don't see how it fires us to being title contenders when you're talking about Liverpool and Arsenal potentially competing with City. For us to just sneak ourselves in there, I'd be lying to you if I said I see that we do. That's one negative signing. The positive signing is Andre Onana, because that's my favorite.
You're a big fan of Andre Onana, yeah?
Listen,
I've seen your tweets.
I said I started my agenda, and whether people like it or not, I think this guy, and Hassam, don't say anything about this when I say it, I think this guy's the best goalkeeper in the world. Now, don't tell me Allison this, Allison that. You stick to your man, I stick to my man.
This is the problem with this fan base.
We can live in peace. No, this is not a problem.
This is the problem with this fucking fan base.
Honestly. It's not a problem.
You guys keep saying Arsenal fans are bad. I swear you're worse than them. I swear.
How? So if Mo agrees
because
with
you
me,
never
and
even said
team...
you have never said he's the best keeper in the world before he was linked to Man United. You never said that a day in your life.
Oh, of course. This is my shameless part, Habibi.
Oh, this is my shameless part. Oh,
see, at least I admitted it to you, and this is my agenda, and I'm riding the whole season with it.
Don't be shameless on spaces with the other shameless people.
That's your job. You do your spaces. I'll go on shows. I'll show my face when I'm being shameless. I'll let people know so people can put
the best keeper. Onana wasn't even the best keeper in the city of Milan before the transfer because Magnan existed. And you're coming here telling me best keeper in the world.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
Your opinion sucks.
Oh, your opinion sucks too, and we can both agree to that. But anyways, Yes, I am a big fan of him. I think this guy's going to transform our team. I'm looking forward to it. As I said it previously, we have been deprived of a modern day goalkeeper who's good on the ball, who's commanding in his box, who's a good sweeper keeper. All these things De Gea didn't give us. De Gea, thank you for the memories, but it was time to move on. We are getting one of the best goalkeepers in the world at doing these things I just listed. He is a very good shot stopper, but he's an elite goalkeeper when it comes to playing out from the back. So however way you want to look at it, if you want to compare what he's good at and what he's not good at to Ederson, Alisson, Courtois, whatever. Yes, he's not the best at all these things that I named, but he's quite good enough in most of them to be listed up there in the top 3 or top 5 in the world. But anyways, this guy will shape our team a lot differently. We're going to be a lot more confident building from the back. We're going to be a lot more better when we're exposed to the counter. When we're not as exposed to the counter as we used to because of De Gea. He's going to be coming out his box a lot. Even on set pieces, he's going to be much more commanding in his box. He's going to give Varane and Lisandro much more confidence when the ball goes to him. When he has to spray the balls from the back, he's going to be able to pick out passes and up the pitch. People that are in front of him, people on the sides, people in the middle of the park. He's going to be able to do it all. So I think this is actually our most important signing. And it should be done by next week, actually. It's much closer than you think it is. And if you want me to talk about Rasmus Højlund, I'm not even sure if that one's going to get done. It's looking a lot more likely now that Mason Greenwood is going the other way around and he's being sent there on loan. So that makes me feel like, all right, there's something going. There's no way they're just getting a striker without knowing that they're giving up someone, especially that it's business between the two clubs. So I think there's something cooking over there. We'll get a little bit more clarity about it. I think after the Onana deal is done, we'll start hearing more about that. But if we do get him, I think it's a decent signing. He's not a finished product yet, but give him a year or two under some management by Erik ten Hag and some improvements. It could be one of the best upcoming strikers in the world, in my opinion, or in Europe, in my opinion.
Say best striker in the world like you did for Onana. Go for it,
What do you have an issue with that?
If you're being a bozo, just be a bozo all the way.
I'm not being a bozo. I'm picking a 27-year-old goalkeeper in his prime as saying he's the best goalkeeper.
Okay, let me.
That's not the same as saying as a 20-year-old is the best.
1 second, let me prove to you right now that you're just full of crap.
There's nothing to prove. It's an opinion. How can you prove an opinion? You can't prove an opinion. See what this guy's full of shit.
Why are you shouting?
Because Habibi, I have to. That's the only way I can speak over you.
You don't have to scream. You've got a microphone. Andrew, Alisson or Onana?
Alisson all day long at the moment.
Alisson.
Comment section, Alisson or Onana. Just let us know, because I don't know what the hell Staffy has smoked before the stream, but it is what it is. I think they sell some crazy drugs in New York. That's what
let us know in the comment section, and of course, make sure you're slapping them likes and hitting the subscribe button and doing all of that. Of course, I don't know where Northside's disappeared to. I know he's a bit busy, so he's probably just jumped out. The Newcastle
probably disappeared in the north side.
But we will of course discuss Newcastle. We will discuss Spurs as well, because I did actually invite Deji on, and when I told him what topic we would be talking about, who can catch Manchester City, he said, I don't think I should be involved in this conversation, mate. So decided not to come on. Big up yourself, Dej. So Winter Surfer, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Let's talk Chelsea. Of course, spent big money since Todd Bowley has come in. It went horribly wrong for them last season. 3 managers. They've now, of course, appointed the serial loser in Pochettino. Do you think anything will change? Obviously, Chelsea, you can't argue with Chelsea over the last 10, 15 years in terms of trophy winning. They have been, one of the most, if not the most successful club in the Premier League. So do you think Chelsea could be back this season? Do you think, of course, you've signed Nkunku, you've signed this Jackson guy, I've never heard of him. You're in talks with Caicedo. Do you think Chelsea could get it right this season and be back up there fighting for a league title?
Bro, I don't even know what my team looks like at this moment. Liverpool, I honestly don't. I don't want to assume that Caicedo gets done, but then again, I don't know. I need Nick Jackson coming in, like you said, totally unknown. Don't care what any Chelsea fan says. You never watched him, so don't even try that. or even heard of him before we signed him, probably. We're linked to Vlahovic. I know that they tried to link Lukaku Juventus today, but I think Lukaku's got some dodgy past with Juventus fans, so I don't know if that'll work. For me, if we were to get Vlahovic and Caicedo, I would still need a goalkeeper, because if Kepa's our number one, then it limits what this team can do, even playing once a week. Because no matter if our defence was good and stuff like that, I just don't trust Kepa. That's all. I just don't. I've had 5 years of this guy, and I just don't. I can't do this anymore.
Andrew, I saw your fans saying let's sign De Gea. What do you think about that? You guys want De Gea?
That's just preposterous. That is just. I mean, what's them together? They're not even a decent number two at this point. Do you know what I mean? It's just wrong. I mean, if we're talking outgoings, it's a 9 out of 10 outgoings. Get rid of Cho. Ziyech.
Don't respect
Lukaku,
Mount like
Gallagher.
that. He's the boy that had the dream. Don't respect him.
Of course, well, you know what? He's Man United's problem now. He can be their nightmare, so it's all good.
I want to ask you this actually, because you're talking about players that moving on. Are you disappointed that Mason Mount has left, or Kai Havertz, or are you happy that both of them have left?
Bro, I'm telling you right now, no one at Chelsea, no Chelsea fan thought we would get rid of Kai Havertz this summer. There's no way, because we didn't think there's a market for him. Honestly, like all these like bogus links to Bayern Munich because he's German. But then you come along, and
there's always a market for him when Arsenal are about, mate. Santa Claus Arsenal.
I think we turned down your first bid as well, right? I think we turned it down, right? And you increased it. So 50 million, yes, please. Don't care if he hits the add-ons. Don't care. 50 million. Even Real Madrid balked at 50 million. They went, no, he's not worth it. But then the Mount thing, I'm just glad it's over. And you know what? All this stuff about him the other day about what he said in the dressing room, I don't care. He's not in my club anymore. All the Chelsea fans moaning are the same ones saying to Spurs fans, stop moaning about what Potch said the other day. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
that ain't upset you, Andrew? That video from the locker room, him and his dad?
They're not part of my club anymore. Go. I don't care. I've got bigger.
Uh-oh.
He was going to say bigger fish to fry there, wasn't he?
I think so. And the internet has been done with that.
As soon as you're gone, I don't really. Depends on how you leave. But I don't listen. The thing about Mount is that he's extremely overrated by parts of our fan base, as you know, Staffy, as you know, Sam, as you know, Brandon. I think he'll do well at United if you limit his instructions and don't tell him to create. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But I'm glad he's done. I'm glad the circus is over with. I'm glad of not going on Chelsea streams and half of it given to Kai and Mount to discuss over and over again. I'm just glad, man. I'm glad with all the outgoings that needed to happen. Some still need to happen, but I need to see some incomings now. You know,
so
I need to see Caicedo.
What's the expectation for Chelsea this season?
Well, I think it's to get back in Europe, whether that's Europa League or Champions League, is to get back in. At the moment, the squad's leveled up. I can't guarantee that because we haven't got a. I don't know what Nick Jackson can do for starters, and we haven't got like a known striker. Our midfield's decimated. You know what I mean? I think we need Caicedo and another midfielder in. Our defence is fine, but like I said, if we have Kepa as number one goalkeeper, it will limit my expectations of the team because he has a bozo gene in him where you're 1-0 up and you'll concede last minute because he'll make a mistake, or you're 0-0 and a biscuit risk from a long shot. So it will limit what we can do. If we get a goalkeeper in, then I might change my mind. But like I said, any Chelsea fan even contemplating right now looking at this squad as a top 4 challenge, you're out of your mind right now. The way it looks, this squad. We haven't got anyone really in apart from Nkunku. We haven't got anything behind them. So, yeah, 6 at the most with this squad.
Okay. I've seen a lot of people's like pre-predictions for this season. Like, you know, some people saying, City win the league, Arsenal second, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people haven't included Newcastle United in their top 4 this season, even though they made top 4 last season, and they've just made some. Well, they've signed Tonyali from AC Milan, which I think is a very good signing, and they're in talks with Harvey Barnes, of course. Does anybody think Newcastle can do anything next season?
I think it's all depending how they cope with European football. I know it's like and the expectations and their squad. I think for me they need to get a left back. As much as Dan Burn did well last season, I think they need an actual left back, because I'm surprised not many people actually targeted Dan Burn last season, because he's literally just a centre back, a left back. Midfield, yeah, Tonali is a good option. Harvey Barnes is a usual one, because everyone's going to go, well, what about St. Maximin? But what does he actually do apart from step overs? Do you know what I mean? He's very flashy, easy on the eye. He's if you like that, that's fine. But where's the end product?
Squad depth. We've been told this at Arsenal.
Use him as squad depth. Yeah,
we've been told this at Arsenal for years. We need squad depth in order to be able to compete. It doesn't matter that we
probably rates
700
himself
million.
to start though, which is why I don't think he'll stay. I mean, getting Harvey Barnes, I think, is a good signing for them because he's more Premier League proven. He has more end product to his game than St. Maximin, even though St. Maximin is easier on the eye.
I also think though Alexander Isak's going to come on a bit more this season. More experience.
Yeah, but I think he'll focus more on playing as a striker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the season he plays more as a striker.
Maybe an evolution of him sort of drifting in a bit more instead of like drifting out wide like he did a few times. Callum Wilson's going to score goals, but he's also going to miss a lot of games because he's just that type of player. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how they cope.
Is the French Anthony, basically. That's what I heard.
Round two.
I told you this guy's obsessed, bro. He can't go 5 minutes without talking about my
I'm just
club.
asking a question, Staffy. Why do you keep crying? It's unbelievable.
And I just gave you an answer. Why are you crying?
No, I asked Andrew. Your name ain't Andrew. Do you look like an Andrew? No. Let Andrew answer.
Listen, the minute you talk about my club, I'm the representative to my club. So I'm just doing my job on this panel, Habibi.
What do you think, Hussam?
Newcastle hype.
What do you think? Yeah.
It's just like I don't believe in the Newcastle hype. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're gonna be playing two games a week. All these people just doing all this Newcastle, this blah blah blah. We've been watching the Premier League for a long time. They did the same thing with Everton. They did the same thing with Leicester City. They did the same thing. Can they do this? Can they do this? No, they can't, because they're not used to this big time. This is the big time right here. They're not used to it. And because they're not used to it, they've got to grow to become that football club. So I don't expect Newcastle to be challenging or doing anything massive. Tonali is a good signing, and it's like a we're here signing, but I don't see Newcastle doing anything of note next season. Maybe, at best, maybe finish 5th.
Okay. Is there any point in us talking about Tottenham?
Honestly, no.
I would just say this. I think Maddison's a great signing. If Kane stays, I think it's a great signing. If Kane goes
Andrew,
and they don't buy a striker, they've got Richarlison up there, then I worry a bit.
Andrew, doesn't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter if Kane stays or not.
That's what I mean, right? I can't. It's like everyone go like last year they won the transfer window. That's great, but what did you do on the pitch? It's the same as I can't give any Spurs any credibility because they haven't got any. You know what I mean? It's like,
the biggest mistake of my season this year was backing Spurs. I backed Tottenham Hotspur.
Never do it. And
it's the biggest mistake. Andrew's right. I came out publicly and I said, block me if I back Spurs ever again. I just believed in Conte and you know what it is? I'm just had enough of that club. They're just such a pointless football club. There is no reason for them to exist even. And it's just like so fucking boring. It's the same shit. Like, Spurs have signed 2-3 good players, blah, blah, blah. And then they just fucking capitulate again. And it's like someone's fault. And it's like, Levy out, Enoch out, blah, blah. We get it. You're just boring. Your entire club's boring. Last summer we said the same shit. Richarlison's a good signing. This guy, Suma's a good signing. That guy's a good signing. Fuck all that. Nothing's a good signing for Spurs. They just suck as an institution. So I don't think they're going to do nothing next year. They're just going to play good football. That's
linking Spurs putting Spurs to a title one conversation like the one we're having right now is like talking about my chances with dating Dua Lipa. It's not going to happen. Just like there's no point of talking about it It's a fantasy. It's not a thing. So don't even include them in this. Like, if we're not going to include Chelsea and Man United and we're being objective about it, then why the hell are we even mentioning Spurs? Spurs are more in question if they're going to finish top 4. If they're being very realistic here, with or without Kane. And I'm being very honest. They could sign Mbappe tomorrow, and I'll still have doubts about Spurs to win the league because it's just like in their DNA. As Sam said, I'm so sick of this club. They're just like, wallahi, they're just so pointless. They're there to give everyone false hope. If I have an Arsenal agenda and I want to hop on Spurs for now, they'll let me down. If I want to hop on a Spurs agenda against Manchester City or Chelsea, they'll let me down. It is what it is. There's no point of talking about them.
Okay. So before we move on to the
Sam, we can agree on stuff.
Before we move on to the
That Spurs suck. Yeah, water is wet.
Yes, Spurs do suck. You're right. Before we move on to the overarching question, in no particular order, I just want, at the moment, as things stand, obviously things can change with signings and stuff.
I'm not gonna give predictions. I'm gonna go on mute. If you're gonna ask me for predictions, I'm not involved. Nope. Not.
Well, we can't not do a prediction and then talk about who's going to challenge Manchester City next season. Come on.
No, the thing is, Brandon, because it's so early though. Let me give you an example. You're an Arsenal fan. You wake up tomorrow, you sign Caicedo. Everyone here is going to change where Arsenal land. If you've got Rice, Caicedo, and Odegaard, everyone's like, "Fuck this! Arsenal are winning the league." So it depends on the transfer window. Because like Man United right now, as things stand, I don't think they retain their top 4 position. That's not an insult. Even staff will probably be like, I'm a little bit worried. If it's just Mount and Onana, no one's going to sit up here and go like, oh my God, what a window for Man United. They signed Mason Mount. Oh, the Messiah is here. No one's going to say that. If we sign Lavia and a centre-back, I think we can win the league. You know, if City don't replace their players properly, I might be like, it's going to be a Liverpool-Arsenal thingy. All I know for a fact is Liverpool, Arsenal, and City are going to be in the top 4. That's what I know right now, as of today. Even Chelsea could become a top 4 club. Zero doubt about that. If they sign Caicedo, for example, so everything could change. But the only thing I know is Liverpool, Arsenal, and City in no order are going to be in the top 4. Other than that, the rest is difficult to predict. Oh, and I've got another prediction. The other prediction is Everton are going to go down.
Inshallah.
Okay. Okay. So basically, the gist of what I was getting from what you were saying there, then, Hassan, is there's only 2 teams in the league, as things stand right now, that could potentially stop Manchester City from winning the Premier League, and Liverpool are included in that. Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty much what you said. Yeah.
I know it's hard to predict because obviously the transfer window is still going, but does anybody think that Manchester City can be stopped next season? And does anybody think that they will be? And who by?
There's one possibility, and I keep saying I don't think. I actually have a different opinion to Sam, so let's build up to that. I don't think Arsenal will compete. Sorry, I'm on an Arsenal channel, and they're gonna hate me. But yet again, Arsenal fans don't like me, so it's nothing new. I don't think they'll compete. I don't think. Okay, Rice is a good signing. Timber is a good signing. Havertz is a let's see what's going to happen signing. But I don't think this is an improvement on letting Xhaka go and potentially Partey go. Now, if Partey stays, I'll change my opinion because I'll respect the double pivot of Partey and Rice. What I will not respect is Rice playing on his own in the 6 on his first year playing under Arteta. And I've explained it more than once that it takes time to develop into the system that Pep and Arteta play, which is very similar. It's copy-paste. It's the same thing. If Manchester City players go into Manchester City and they need a year of development, how come anyone going into Arsenal wouldn't need also a year of development? I've seen the whole squad need 3 years of working under Arteta, finishing 8th twice, finishing 5th once, until finally they become a team that understands what the coach wants to do, and they go on and they have a title challenge. So I don't expect someone coming from West Ham, no matter how good he is. I'm not saying he's not a good player before people misunderstand me, but this guy's going from playing with David Moyes, where he's parking the bus, where he almost got relegated. I feel like people, because West Ham won the Conference League, a lot of people are forgetting how bad their season was. These guys actually had a very horrible season in terms of in the league, and he was a part of it, whether you guys like it or not. So if this guy almost got relegated, and then you're putting him now in that Arsenal team, he will need time to develop. He will need time to learn how to play as a lone six, because he didn't play as a lone six in West Ham. And even if he did, he's not going to have the same offensive duties with Arsenal that he did in West Ham. So it's going to be a completely different atmosphere for him, different style of play. He's going to need time to learn, and it's very fine. But that's what I'm saying. If Partey stays and he plays with him, it will help a lot more, and it would develop his game much more faster than if he just comes in and plays as a lone six. So based on these things, I might change my opinion. But as it stands, I don't think Arsenal will be in the run for the league. However, I see you smiling down there because you know where I'm going. But this is when you need to respect me, because you sit here and say I waffle and stuff, but I'm bigging up your shitty ass club that I can't stand. But these guys down there, not you, Winter Surfer, forget about it. I'm talking about the other guy down there. I think his team is more equipped to challenge for the title. Their late run last season wasn't good enough to get them top 4, but I saw glimpses of the old Liverpool where I was sitting there, I'm like, should I be a little bit worried? Are they going to get top 4 from us? Thankfully, they didn't, but they showed me. What was it, Hassan, if you can remind me? I think you guys went on a 6 or 7 game winning streak, and it was overall like a 9 or 10 game undefeated streak, something like that, which is still impressive. You don't do that. If you're 5th and you don't do that, it kind of shows that you're not really the 5th best team in England. No team really puts up a run like that unless they're actually a good team. And that was the old Liverpool that kind of showed me. That was the old club that he showed me in the end of the season. So they kind of ended the season well, even though they didn't get top 4. But I think that's going to give them momentum going to next season, especially when they added the likes of Szoboszlai and McAllister, which I think are excellent signings. I think they complement each other very well. Different profiles, but they're going to work well with each other very well. I'm seeing that with the forces they have up front. Maybe they need a little bit more backing in defense, but when it comes to experience and squad and all that and management, I think they're much more equipped than Arsenal. I think Arsenal's end of the season might actually impact them in a negative way, whereas the end of Liverpool season might kind of like impact them in a positive way. And it's my opinion. Please, no one come at me and get mad at me.
Do you know, it's interesting, Staffy, because I am very much on a similar page to you. I'd like to think that Arsenal will compete.
Wow, really?
Yeah, genuinely. Like, Northside explained it pretty well earlier when he was saying about the signings. I think Declan Rice is an excellent signing. Timber's an excellent signing. Havertz, question marks over. Now, I've always maintained that I don't mind the Kai Havertz signing, because I do believe that there is a player there, and I do believe that Mikel Arteta has the ability to get it out of him. But it's all still up in the air for Arsenal. I do worry about the striker's position. I ain't going to lie. I really, really do. Because people are forgetting, right? Gabriel Jesus, okay, he had, 3 months out injured. That's fair enough. The guy only scored 12 goals last season. And he's the main number 9 in the team. And the only thing that kind of masked over that is the fact that we were sharing the goals around the pitch really well, right? It's harder to maintain having Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, Jesus, and Nketiah, all of them players coming up with the same amount of numbers, if not more, next season than what it is to go out and buy somebody who guarantees you 20, 25 goals a season. So I worry that, if we go through a little bit of a dry patch, or an individual player goes through a little bit of a dry patch, where are the goals going to come from? Because Jesus has never, ever been a number 9 that's going to score you 20, 25 goals a season.
He's not prolific.
No, he never has been. And then, there's talks going around that we're looking to let Balogun go. I think that could be a big mistake. I think you've got to at least give him a little bit of an opportunity. And we're thinking about keeping hold of Eddie Nketiah. Like, can you imagine, right, going away to the Bernabeu or the Allianz, and Jesus is injured, Trossard is out, whoever it may be, and you're playing Eddie fucking Nketiah up front? Like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine? So I look on it, and it's a big season for Mikel Arteta. Don't get me wrong. It's a massive season for Mikel Arteta, because the money that he's spent, the time that he's been here now, and the fact that he got us competing for a league title that nobody really expected last season. if he don't do that again, at least, and win a trophy and maintain the progress that everybody likes to talk about, then he has to be sacked, surely. Surely he has to be sacked.
After all that money spent, I would agree with you. My thing is, after last season, I said if there's a top manager available right now, go ahead and get him, which was Enrique, because I didn't think Arteta would have to pull in the summer. So far, he's proven me wrong, because I think he's recruited big names. Regardless how we feel about Havertz, it's still a big signing. It costs big money. He wanted the guy, so fair play to him. If this is what he wants, he got it, so he can prove himself now. He got Declan Rice. He's getting Timber. The summer's not even over yet. There's a lot of talks for Caicedo still, even though I doubt it's gonna happen. You might add a couple more players, so we'll see. So far, he's had a big summer, so I'll give that to him. But with big summers comes big pressure. And if you don't deliver next season, a lot of people, this is an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of people in your fan base, Brandon, but you're not one of them. You said it, he surely has to be sacked. Now, obviously, context will be added, if he goes far in the Champions League, goes far in the league, goes far in all the cups, but he loses them based on minor injuries, a mistake in a big game here and there, then yes, of course, we'll change what we're saying right now then, because we'll have seen how it actually panned out to happen. But as of now, you're surely expected to deliver something next season. And it's not just the Carabao Cup, not just an FA Cup. It needs to be something bigger, something in the league, something that's going far in the Champions League and trying at least. You have to compete for the league. So yeah, the uncomfortable conversations will happen next season.
What do you think, Andrew? Where's your head at with all of this?
So, in terms of his challenging, I think it's not who rather than to Arsenal Liverpool. I think it's who capitalises on a usual City slow start. Because apart from the Centurion season, they're pretty slow starters in the league. So whoever's got a lead, if anyone can get a lead in going into February, March time, is can they capitalise on it in terms of that? Now, will Arsenal be able to learn? If it's Arsenal, will they be able to learn from their previous mistakes and actually get over the line? I think Liverpool could hold on to the lead. They've got this, and I thought your last season Arsenal sharing around the goals, like you said, pretty well to counter Gabriel Jesus' thing. But now you're adding Havertz in. How does Havertz affect Odegaard's game? I don't think he will affect that much Martinelli and Saka's game. I think he'll affect Odegaard's game. Huh?
I just think the Havertz song to rattle you.
Yeah, but I just think it's
you aren't gonna sing with me. He won us the Champions League.
No.
Kai Havertz is gone.
It's not my player. It's not my player. I don't sing other teams.
Andrew, while we're at it, actually, can you send me a list of Mason Mount songs? Because I need to practice for next season. So if you could do that off stream, that would be nice of you.
Yeah,
I promise you, Andrew is such a big hater. He went to Stamford Bridge and still didn't sing it. I promise. I promise you, didn't sing it at the bridge.
But no, like I said, I think Havertz will affect Odegaard's game a lot more than actually the other wing sides, especially if they're going to push him and stuff like that. But I think I would trust Liverpool, especially if Liverpool get another midfielder and another centre back, just with because they've got. I think apart from City, I think Liverpool definitely have the best attack in the league and the options they have as well. I know Sam might disagree with this, but maybe Darwin Núñez improved a little bit from last season.
No, honest question.
I mean, it ain't difficult to improve from where he was last season.
No. Honest question. Do you actually think Liverpool's front three is better than Arsenal's? Genuine question.
I think their whole. I'm talking about their options. They've got better options. Yeah. After your front three, you've really got Trossard, maybe Havertz if you put and Nketiah, like you said. Whereas there's they've got 5 for Sam, right? You've got 5 options.
Jota, Diaz, Núñez, Gakpo.
Remember they got Diaz. They got Diaz coming back. They got Diaz, who very underrated and for 35 million as well. Very good signing. You've got Salah always there as long as Klopp doesn't fucking play him as a winger like he did in the early part of the season. they'll be fine. And Jota, very underrated finisher and stuff like that. But I think but that's only if they get another centre back or another midfielder. But like I say, I think it's.
Did you see the Colwell Madueke video?
No.
Oh,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, sorry, the Madueke thing. Yeah.
Colwell don't look that happy to come back to Chelsea.
That's because Colwell knows he's got 3 years still left. So you know what I mean? It's all good.
Yeah. Colwell was a good player. I'll take him at Arsenal.
Of course, everyone would take him, but he's still got 3 years left. People keep forgetting he's got 3 years left on his contract. So, 2+1, sorry, for anyone.
Do you think he'll get game time, Colwell?
Yes, I think he will because we've got rid of Koulibaly. I think shut up. We got rid of Koulibaly. Badashide's actually, I don't think he'll make the start of the season. And Thiago Silva, although we're only playing once a week, I don't think he'll play a lot this season. I think it'll be more of a mentor role. So I think he'll actually get a lot of game time. And, I think he'll establish himself. And he doesn't even have to sign a new contract this season. He can wait till next season to sign it if he wants. Because like I said, still got a 2+1 on there. I think just Potch has to go, yeah, you're in my plans. That's it. So that's all he has to say. You're in my plans. We cleared the pathway. We got rid of this is you now. And just basically call him the future, call him the present, which he is right now. He looks to be a very, very good player. And what's going to be great if he stays is that Potch has got literally 1 game a week. So he's got like a whole week to work with him. Not like going in and out of games, stuff like that. And, you can just hold that, Sam. And you can hold that. Yeah, you can hold that with...
Andrew, you know that I don't think we're gonna get him. I know we like him. I know.
It's not
low key. I think.
Brian,
Andrew, let me just say this, and then I promise you can say whatever you want. Look, I know he would love to come to us as well if he's given a starting role. All I'm saying is, I don't think we can afford him. So me and you agree. So I'm not even saying like. I'm not even saying we're going to buy him because you guys want like a record fee. And Andrew, think about it this way. Before we even wanted them, Brighton wanted them. Remember at the start of the window? But even you asked Brighton for too much money. So I don't think he's going to leave just because of the money situation. It ain't because he doesn't want to join us.
No. Listen, I think it's him. You just say he's in the plans. You know what I mean? It's all about showing him. And like I said, he's got a long time. He's got a 2+1 year deal. So it's really up to that. You just establish yourself this season, you sign an extension next season, and it's all good. Yeah, cool. Yeah. But like I said, but going back to the original question about the what was the original question? Oh yeah, so who can challenge City?
Who can stop City?
Who capitalizes on their,
if anyone,
close start essentially. Well, I think they're going to feel in because they put Laporte up for ridiculous like £25 million. I read. Up for sale, so they're going to bring him in. They've got Kovacic in to cover the midfield, stuff like that. It's who leaves. Does they get replacement if Mahrez leaves and stuff like that? They got another year of Julian Alvarez, who's just looks an amazing player to come in. I think in a couple of years' time, if Haaland was to leave or something like that, Julian Alvarez is just going to step up and just be the man. So, and you got Phil Foden. Hopefully, for City has an injury-free season coming in. So. It's who can stop them basically. And people go, well, how can they be focused? Well, 2 things. If I was Pep Guardiola, I don't care about domestic cups this season. I'll do whatever. I'll put the kids in there, whatever. I say to them, no one's done a 4P, and no Premier League has ever retained the Premier League side has ever retained the Champions League in this format. Those are 2 motivating factors for them to actually to do it over. Sorry, to do something that even the great Sir Alex Ferguson teams never managed to do with 4P is just down, and then we can all be silent hopefully when he leaves in 2 years' time or 2024, whenever Pep leaves, and we can get our league back. But it's all good.
Yeah, that's it. Let Pep leave, and then we can stop the rot, basically. Stop the rot. So, right, last question before we get out of here, guys, because we've done nearly an hour. Big up all the people in the comments section. Make sure you slap them likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, and you hit that notification bell so you never, ever miss a stream. This has been good. I've enjoyed chatting to all you boys. If you had to put your house on it, and I don't even know if anybody's got a house here or not, but if you had to put money on it, one team that can stop Manchester City next season? Who is it? Go, Hussam.
Sam, you don't have a house. Put your camel on it. I'll put my camel on it too.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Camels are expensive, you know. Every time.
Oh my god,
is he
he
frozen?
froze.
He's
He
frozen.
froze. His camel unplugged his
Oh.
internet. All
You
right,
sure
so
it's
what
his
else? Good?
internet? You sure he ain't just jumped out because he's like, oh, I ain't putting money on nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it. Yeah, he's bottled it. He's bottled it. That's what happened. He's bottled the pick.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Liverpool, but it's very who can challenge, who will be the main challengers. It's very close. I mean, if you were to get a proper striker, then I'd put you over the top. But I think it's close. It's a flip of the coin. Ask me next week, it'd probably be Arsenal, but at the moment, it's Liverpool at the moment for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
as of now, I would agree with you, Andrew. As of now, I can't give that speech that I gave like 15 minutes ago and then be like, "Well, it's Arsenal." Actually,
It's Arsenal.
I was joking this whole time. Arsenal got this. Nah. As of now, I do think it would be Liverpool. I wouldn't.
Just the suggestion that I have to sell my camel has frozen my.
I told them your camel unplugged your internet.
You know, I just want to say camels are quite expensive, guys. Every one camel costs like 10 grand. You know, it
They're
ain't
pretty
cheap.
expensive.
If you are into camel trading, you make a whole lot of money. I can't lie, I need to pick up that business still, like that camel trading stuff.
So who are you
Imagine-
putting your camel on then? Who are you putting
Imagine
your
me
camel
and
on?
Hassam get in partnership, staffing Hassam's camels.
Let's do it. Let's go to Saudi, buy 15 camels, you know, raise them up and sell them when they're older. Let's do it. I think that's quite a lucrative business. I don't know if Staffy was answering the question though, because I don't want to.
I
be
was,
Yeah, he
yeah.
answered it.
But we were basically saying, I think me and Andrew were in agreement that for now, as what we've seen this summer, there's nothing concrete yet. But as of what we've seen, we would slightly try to pick Liverpool over Arsenal or anyone else. But we still want to see until the end of the summer, because like as you said it perfectly. What if Arsenal wake up tomorrow and they sign Caicedo?
I always say it perfectly.
You know,
just
I could
need
be
to
I could be a flip flop according to people, not always, but I could be a flip flop according to people. But if I see new evidence, then my opinion will change. If Caicedo goes to Arsenal, obviously you're having a different conversation right now. If Caicedo goes to Liverpool, actually proves it even more. Stuff like that. So we'll see what happens until the end of the season.
Caicedo to Liverpool, put our name on that Premier League trophy, brother. I don't know what we're waiting for. Are you mad?
I would
Caicedo to Liverpool.
I would stop going on This Is Football because I won't be a part of your title run or whatever you want to call it this season.
Oh, you ain't gonna be in no title run anyway. Anyway, let me answer the question. You know, Staffy's saying I said it perfectly. I always say it perfectly to him. That his problem is he doesn't listen. When it comes to who would I edge slightly, I'd edge us just based on experience. I think overall we got the better manager, and on paper our team is better, but it's about execution. It's not just about on paper. So, like, on paper means nothing, because I think, genuinely speaking, if you go back to last summer and asked everyone on paper who would you rather have, Chelsea's players or Arsenal players, everyone would have said Chelsea's players.
100%.
And look at the massive difference because of the way they executed the season. So for me, I'd slightly edge us, but not by much, to be honest with you, because we still are kind of two missing pieces away.
Yeah,
You know
I
something?
agree.
I'm going to go against all of you. I'm going to say Arsenal.
He said Liverpool at the start of the stream. You're so shameless, Brandon. You're so shameless.
Is that
No,
a gal
I'm
in
gonna say
disguise?
Arsenal. I'm going to say Arsenal for this reason, and it is this reason only, right? You're right in what you're saying there about it's not about the quality of the players, it's about the execution. What I do put Arsenal ahead of Liverpool at this precise moment in time, with Liverpool basically looking to change their entire midfield. I mean, well, I say that, but we're doing the same, aren't we? Yeah, I mean, with Liverpool looking to change their entire midfield at the moment, I think you're going to have like not a transition, but players have got to come in and get used to Klopp's system before you start to see the fruits of it. Whereas we've already got players in our squad that is kind of,
Brendan, can I challenge you there? Can I challenge you on this?
Yeah.
I'm happy that you said that because I've actually talked about that recently. it's much more easier to adapt, as crazy as it sounds, it's much more easier to adapt to club system than to Arteta system. Because we can use examples. If I tell Hassam to name me some of his recent signings that hit off the ground running right away, he'll name Van Dijk, he'll name Alisson, he'll name Fabinho, he'll name so many players that came in and they actually shown like they belong there. Whereas I don't think it's that easy to play the way Arteta wants to play because it's much more complicated. Bringing in McAllister, you just said it perfectly. Both these teams are changing their midfield. But is it easier to come in and bed in with this Liverpool team if you're McAllister and Szoboszlai, or is it if you're Rice and let's say Havertz plays in the midfield or plays as an attacking midfielder ahead of Rice and Odegaard? Which one is easier to adapt to? I think it's much more easier to adapt to that Liverpool team because it's less changed than that Arsenal team. And that's just my opinion, but when you actually are being objective about it, there is facts to prove that's easier. It is easier to go in and blend in that club team versus the Arsenal side. And honestly, as I said, it's just my opinion.
It's going to be interesting to see because I actually think we will end up keeping Thomas Partey. And if we don't,
honestly, that's the best thing for you guys.
If we don't keep Thomas Partey, I do think we will replace him with a top quality player, though. You know,
no,
you're looking at
not top. Well, define top quality though, because Lavia can't replace Partey.
And
no, not Lavia. Yet. Not Lavia.
And also, look at it this way: Rice, Partey, and Odegaard is probably one of the best midfields in Europe. Like that's a crazy.
It's
midfield.
Very balanced. I see so much balance in that midfield.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable midfield. You'd be crazy if you want Partey sold right now, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, maybe we'll have to do this stream at the end of the transfer window, so maybe we can hedge our bets on a team.
See, I got him thinking now. He's like, Staffy made good points about that midfield. Maybe I have to reassess now.
No, I'm still back in my club because I get told all the time that I'm negative, so I'm back in the club. Fuck it. I'm still saying Arsenal. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream now. Listen, people that are watching, of course, make sure you slap them likes, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell as well if you haven't already. Make sure you go over and sub to these guys' channels. I'm not sure if you have a channel, do you, Andrew?
Well, I'm part of Casually FC. If you follow me at the winner serve, it's the pinned tweet. So. I'll put your Twitter in the description. Hussam, I'll put your channel in the description, and Staffy, I'll put yours in the description as well. Because I think you've just started a YouTube channel as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, make sure you go over and follow these guys if you don't already. I'll be very surprised if you're not. Of course, subscribe to Hussam's channel. That's doing really well. And look, yeah, maybe we'll have to have this conversation at the end of the transfer window. But for now, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks all for watching, and we'll be back again very, very soon. Cheers, guys. We're out.